name is Hans Modeste and I do recycle art. I've been doing recycle art for the last 20 years now. Taught it for the last 13 years. And now I'm on the streets because I'm no longer working, you know. I was laid off. The last time I worked was in 2010. I taught it for 13 years and I contacted many students, usually in the kindergarten ages. But I work with many students. However, right now I'm selling on 126 and Lenox Avenue and Malcolm X Boulevard, to be exact. And what I do is I take things that needs recycling, like things I think like paper. For this piece, for example, is made from paper. Everything in here is the contents of this particular piece is nothing but plastics and paper that is, you know, all around me. All the stuff I work with is within my environment. So I work and I try to make use of my environment, because when you're not working, you have to find yourself useful. You got to do something. So I come up with this concept of manipulating paper, and I make stuff like this, you know. I chose that particular mode because it was easy for me to access things around me, you know. And since I've been doing art most of my life, I thought it was a very revolutionary way of providing a job for myself while I produce a very beautiful piece of, you know, art. So this is what I really do. Yeah, most of my work, I work sometimes on the streets, but most of the stuff I do it at home, and then sometimes I do finishing parts on the streets, so that there are times when I do work on the street and people really respond to me sort of mysteriously, because it is always sort of mysterious when somebody does things with their hands, you know. And people, they might respond by saying, you know, you're very talented or whatever. Even though I'm trying to make a livelihood, people might respond, you know, by saying you're talented. However, the reason why I do things and the reason why I always show myself working is because I want to prove that as long as you got two hands, then that's your employment agency right there. You know, there's no need to go to anybody else for them to determine whether you work or not, because as long as I got two hands, I will always work. However, it's a great challenge because, like I said, a lot of my stuff is raw. And sometimes I leave it raw because I can finish this and make it look much better, but I leave it raw to show people that these are the stages you go through with any product at all you want to create. These are some of the stages you go through. So when you come to my table, you will see things that are finished completely, and then you will also see things that are not totally finished. And that is because I make my stuff as real as possible in terms of how people respond. All right. My work also take a historical dimension. I try to do things that are historical, like this piece here. This is the Olmec head that was discovered in Mexico. All right. And the reason why I do this is because I want to project, in terms of what I do, history. I want to show that we were here and we left our footprints, because many of our ancestors left their art, their art, so that we can know where they were at whatever point and time in civilization. So this piece here is an Olmec piece, and I did this. It took me about a week to do this piece here, but I try to sell it, but there's a lot of people who do not know anything about this, and this is a very important piece because it's a conversation piece. A piece like this, these people were discovered in Mexico 3,000 years BC, before Christ. And our people, this is not in the curriculum in the educational system. And it baffles me why something like this is not being taught to our people in the school system. All right? These are the original Mexican people. Original. And that was a black man 3,000 years before Christ. We look at the features of the Sphinx, and we see that black people is all over this stuff. You know, nobody can deny it. But at the same time, I make it because I wanted to verify the historical records to know that we were doing things, you know? It's not about going and get a job here and getting a job there. We create our own jobs. We create what we want to make, you know? And this is why I deal with a lot of historical pieces. So when people come to my table, they know that black people did their part in history. Yes, I love these birds. It took me about a week to make them. And I remember when I started these, I was just thinking about the two little birds that Marley was thinking about in his tune. And I was really thinking about it because I thought to just take a piece of paper and mold it into this bird, it gives a lot of meaning. You know, a lot of meaning. But it took me about a week to make it. And I'm very, very proud of this, you know, this accomplishment. Really proud of this. Aren't they beautiful? This piece here, I came in contact with this piece accidentally. This guy brought this, there's a picture of the Moors. And this guy brought a lamp. This used to be a lamp, all right? And he brought this for me to fix for him. And that's when I got the idea that I should, you know, use this as a historical piece. Because these people were in Spain for 700 years, before the advent of Columbus. And these were the people who civilized Spain, you know? And to me, it's very, very important because, I mean, look at the dignity of these people. You know, really look at them, you see? And I thought it was something that I had to, you know, have on my table. But these here, I had them for about 3 to 5 years. And I carry this because, again, this is also recycled, but the significance, it brings that energy. It brings, you know, it brings me into that aura or that kind of space where I can feel my ancestors. And, you know, so I carry stuff like this, you know, all historical. My name is Hans, Modeste, and I'm at the corner of 126 and Malcolm X Boulevard, right across from Sylvia's. So anytime you come around here and you want anything done, you can check me out at 126 and Lenox Avenue.
Good evening. Welcome to Divine Speech in African Traditionalism. I am your host, Augustine Ayinibisah, Ayelah. First of all, I have to seek permission to speak. I rise before my father and my mother. I rise before my grandfather and my grandmother, whom I call my ancestors. I rise before the deities, the land deities, the water deities, and the sky deities. I rise before the goddesses, especially the goddess Ma'at, to give me wisdom to conduct this interview with justice. Finally, I rise before the gods, especially the god Jehuti, the god of knowledge, the god who taught people how to read and write the Mother Nature. And finally, I rise before the supreme being, Amen-Re, whom my tradition call Na-Wene, to give me strength so that I can conduct this interview without offending another human being and in adherence to Africa's mystery system. With this prayer, I know I'm permitted to speak. As we celebrate 29 days of Black history, let us take a moment to reflect on our ancestral achievements and accomplishments in creations, inventions, discoveries, in the mysteries in which the world owes their understanding of higher institutions of learning. Let us celebrate with pride that our ancestors did all these by themselves. Let us point to the pyramids with their original name, Me, which are still the awe of the rest of the world. Me means build in Gurne, a language spoken by the Grushis in Ghana and Burkina Faso, and wow, did we build. Let us point to the Herem Eket, known as the Sphinx, and say it is the Son of God, Heru, in the horizon. Others think that Black History Month began with the Arab slavery or European slavery of the people of the African continent. The celebration of Black history should highlight all sides of our humanity, both the negative and the positive. We should highlight our 110,000 years of creations, the decline, our enslavement, and in its midst, the birth of a new nation called Haiti. Slavery was followed by colonization of the motherland, untold persecutions, struggles, and with determinations brought about victories to become self-governing. Across Africa, Ghana led the way with an independence date of March 6, 1957, exactly 100 years of Dred Scott, which declared the Black race as different species from humans. We should also point to the civil rights struggles and victories against the KKK, Jim Crow, and lynch mobs. Against all odds, we fought until we put one of us in the White House with a victory in the ballot. Yes, this is Black history, and a rich one at that. Black History Month is an honor of our past, our achievements, our struggles, and successes. In light of that, we have dedicated this show to celebrate it. Before I introduce my guests, let me summarize how Black History Month came into existence and why. African American History Month is a celebration and reflection of the past of a people uprooted from their land, forced into slavery, and transported into strange lands, sold and made to work from sunup to sundown without compensation. But their situation did not stop them from fighting for their freedom. It did not stop them, even under hostile environments, from pursuing their dreams. So African American History Month is a reflection of that struggle, the sacrifices, the accomplishments, and continued survival. It was brought to being by Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson was born on December 19, 1875 in New Canton, Virginia, to James and Eliza Riddle Woodson, two former slaves. When his father heard that a high school for blacks was being built in Huntington, West Virginia, he wasted no time, but moved to the place so that his children would have the opportunity to have proper education. But because of the large size of the elder Woodson family,